I am covering week 5 today of the NFL season. This video is probably coming out shortly after the week 4 episode where I explain why the videos have been kind of inconsistent. That's all on me and I do apologize. But to get right into it, we'll start off with Thursday night game of week 5, and that was the Bears and Commanders. The Bears dominated. They had the performance that they've been looking for out of Justin Fields. Fields 15 of 29, 282 yards and 4 touchdowns with a final score of 40-20 to get the Bears their first win of the year. Sam Howell, though, still had a pretty good, decent game. He went 37 of 51, 388 yards and 2 touchdowns to only 1 pick. It was a really good game as well for DJ Moore, who had 8 receptions, 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Fields and Moore getting that chemistry going together. The Commanders are gonna lose a second game in a row, falling way behind in the NFC East. The Bears gained some ground at 1-4 at least. Jaguars beat the Bills in London. The Jaguars improved to 3-2 with this win. They won the game 25-20. Jacksonville would jump out to an early 11-0 lead. At halftime, Jacksonville would lead 11-7, and they just never looked back after they took that first quarter lead. Trevor Lawrence did have a pretty decent game, 25-37, 315 yards and 1 touchdown. Josh Allen also with a great game as well, 27-40, 359 yards and 2 touchdowns to only 1 interception. Travis Etienne, though, was the real workhorse of this game with 26 carries for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Jaguars moved to 3-2, and the Bills fall to 3-2. So the Bills trying to gain some ground and get back on top of the AFC East at the very least, and the Jaguars trying to get back on top of the go back on top of the AFC South. Next game, the Saints and the Patriots. This was an absolute bloodbath for the Patriots. The first time in Bill Belichick's career that he had been shut out or blown out in back-to-back weeks, and this time being a shutout the week previous, 38-3 loss at the hands of the Cowboys, and now a 34-0 loss at the hands of the New Orleans Saints, who improved to 3-2 on the year. The Patriots fall to 1-4. Derek Carr went 18 of 26 for 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones goes 12 of 22, 110 yards and 2 interceptions. So he's got to clean up the turnovers here if New England's going to get anything going this season. The Saints gained some ground in the NFC South. Colts beat the Titans 23-16 in this division rival matchup. Gardner Minshew went 11 of 14 for 155 yards, as it has now been confirmed that Anthony Richardson will be placed on injury reserve and will be out for at least 4 games. Tannehill went 23 of 34 for 264 yards and 1 touchdown. Gardner Minshew gets his first win of the year as a starter, and the Colts get their 3rd win of the year at home against the Titans. Steelers beat the Ravens 17-10. Lamar Jackson had a decent game, just threw only 1 interception, went 22 of 38 for 236 yards. No touchdowns, though, for him. Kenny Pickett, though, had a pretty decent game as well, 18 of 32, 224 yards, and 1 passing touchdown. That passing touchdown went to George Pickens, who also had himself a hell of a game, 6 receptions, 130 yards, and the touchdown grab. The Baltimore Ravens did lead this game entirely 10-3 at halftime, but Pittsburgh would have a 14-point fourth quarter comeback and win the game 17-10 ultimately at home. Lions and the Panthers. The Lions have been doing some damage this year. Got that close win in week 1 over the Chiefs and fell to the Seahawks in week 2 and have bounced back ever since that overtime loss at home. And they get a win at home this time, a 42-24 victory over the Carolina Panthers, who fall to 0-5. Bryce Young had a decent game, but struggled mightily, as rookie quarterbacks do when they're just thrown in to start. Bryce Young went 25 of 41, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Jared Goff, however, though, 20 of 28 passing. A really, really good game for him, for his passing efficiency. 236 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just a really, really good performance by the Lions all around. David Montgomery even had himself a hell of a game. 19 carries for 109 yards and 1 touchdown. Josh Reynolds with 4 receptions, 76 yards, and 1 touchdown as well. The Falcons would beat the Texans 21-19 as well in this next game that I'm covering. Falcons at home for this one and improved to 3-2 on the year. Desmond Ridder, 28 of 37, 329 yards and 1 touchdown. CJ Stroud, 20 of 35, 5, 249 yards and 1 touchdown, trying to keep up his performance from the week prior with a big win over the Steelers last week, but they ultimately fall to 2-3. Falcons improved to 3-2, and there is now a 3-way tie for first place in the NFC South. And that is something I also am going to cover at the end. After every recap, I will give you a recap of the standings and division leaders. But however, to move into the next game, the Dolphins get back on their tear after a bounce-back win over the New York Giants, a 31-16 victory. Tua Tagovailoa proving that he's still an MVP candidate. Despite throwing 2 interceptions, he still goes 22 of 30, 308 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, 8 receptions, 181 yards, and 1 touchdown. Daniel Jones went 14 of 20, and a very poor performance from the Giants for only 119 yards. The Bengals beat the Cardinals 34-20. This was a much-needed win for the Bengals, who started the season 0-2. And then quickly fell to 1-3 after last week's embarrassing loss to the Titans, a 27-3 loss. Joe Burrow looked like his normal self, 36 of 46, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Josh Dobbs balled out despite throwing 2 interceptions, 15 of 32, so not the best passing-wise, missed 17 passes there, but 166 yards and still 2 touchdowns for him. Just trying to build up his stock, it looks like, before heading into free agency this year, as the Cardinals look like they are on complete rebuild mode and are tanking for Caleb Williams in the draft. The Eagles beat the Rams 23-14, a very close game between an NFC West and NFC East opponents. Eagles improved to 5-0 with this win. Jalen Hurts has another really great solid performance for him. Matthew Stafford also with a solid performance. Jalen Hurts went 25 of 38, 303 yards, 1 touchdown to 1 pick. Matt Stafford went 21 of 37, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Jets beat the Broncos 31-21. The Jets build off the great performance Zach Wilson put together. Despite Zach Wilson only not throwing any touchdowns and throwing the 1 interception, still went 19 of 26 for 199 yards. Russell Wilson, though, still with a stellar performance from him. He's been great all season long. It's just his defense that has been letting him down. He is 20 of 31 passing for today's game, 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Broncos do fall to 1-4 after this loss, and the Jets improved to 2-3 after the win. The Chiefs beat the Vikings 27-20 in a really solid performance for Patrick Mahomes, who got back to normal after being outplayed by Zach Wilson despite winning the game. Chiefs improved to 4-1. Vikings fall to 1-4. Kirk Cousins went 29 of 47, 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mahomes with a better stat line, similar to Kirk Cousins, 31 of 41, 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the Chiefs holding that top spot in the NFC West at the moment. Niners and the Cowboys. This was a really big game between 2 really solid defenses that everyone was talking about, but the Niners would get the better of the Cowboys on Sunday night's matchup. The Cowboys fall to 3-2 as the Niners improved to 5-0 with a dominant 42-10 victory. Brock Purdy proving that he's that guy. 17 of 24 passing, 252 yards and 4 touchdowns. Dak Prescott would go 14 of 24, 153 yards, 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions, so a really bad game for Dak. The Raiders beat the Packers on Monday Night Football, 17-13. Jimmy Garoppolo went 22 of 31, 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jordan Love had an all-time, probably his worst game so far in the league. Went 16 of 30, 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. A.J. Dillon would have 20 carries, 76 yards and a touchdown. Josh Jacobs would have 20 carries, 69 yards and a touchdown as well. And to give you guys a standings recap, right now your leaders in the AFC East: the Dolphins at 4-1, the Bills at 3-2, the Chiefs at 4-1, the Raiders at 2-3. The Ravens lead the division 3-2. Same as the Steelers and the Browns, and the Bengals are at 2-3, and Jacksonville and the Colts and the Texans are all tied at 3-2 the Colts and the Jaguars are tied at 3-2, the Texans and the Titans both at 2-3. In the NFC West, you have the Eagles at 4-1, the Cowboys at 3-2, Niners at 4-1, Seahawks at 3-1, the Lions at 5-1, the Packers at 2-3, and the Buccaneers at 3-2 in their division, leading the NFC South. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for listening to that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Let me know what team is surprising you so far, or anything interesting that you're seeing about the NFL season so far in the comment section below. And if you're new, please subscribe and tap the notification bell. We post videos regularly. And if you like the video, click like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys for week 6.